Hello everyone, I'm welcome to the Hunter Association, your source for all things Hunter x Hunter. My name is Kaige.
And my name is Dylan.
And on this week's episode, we will be talking about Hunter x Hunter 1999, episodes 71 and 72. Or 1 and 2 of the Greed Island OVA. First Greed Island OVA.
Very exciting.
Yes. Then, of course, we'll be going through our community comments. If you'd like to join in the community and have your comment read, be sure to comment on the YouTube version on the weekly community post. Also, make sure to like and subscribe to help grow our community of Hunter x Hunter fans. Additionally, if you'd like to know when new episodes are live, click the bell to enable notifications. If you're an audio listener, make sure to rate, review, and comment on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Also, be sure to follow us on Twitter at TXHXAPod, as well as Bluesky at THAPod for podcast-related updates and to submit responses to the weekly call-out posts. If you'd like, you can also still email us at hunterassociationpod@gmail.com. As always, we provided timestamps in the description if you would like to skip ahead to any of the aforementioned segments. Alright. A little bit of news. We got Chapter 418 submitted to Shueisha, so we're one step we almost have a whole batch in Shueisha's hands, so like...
Surely any day now. We've been saying this for months now, and it hasn't happened, and it's so frustrating. But surely, we're close, right?
It's either gonna take over Modulo, could take on any of the last batch that are surely getting axed within the next 4 to 6 weeks. Yeah, any of those three. It's coming. It's gotta be close, guys. Like, within our grasp, close. Mm-hmm. Any day now we'll wake up to that announcement.
And I was talking with Kaige about this before we started recording this episode as well, that, compared to when the announcement was made during the last batch of chapters, which I believe was right after 404 was submitted to Shueisha, if I'm remembering correctly, we had about like a month's wait, about a month, give or take, I think, for that to come back into the magazine. With almost a full batch being submitted now and in Shueisha's hands, like Kaige mentioned, I am wondering if we're not going to be waiting nearly as long in between an announcement of it returning to serialization, in the short term, versus it actually, being within the magazine. I'm curious if the wait will be a shorter amount of time. So just theory on my part, obviously, but we'll see. Yeah. But yeah.
Yeah, the only thing I have to combat that, I actually just thought of this, is typically and historically, when Hunter x Hunter comes back, they do it the same week a new volume comes out. Mm. And to release a volume with out at least a month's heads up is kind of insane. But it's possible, surely. I don't really know how production of manga volumes works. It's probably cheap. I mean, Japanese manga volumes are very shitty paper, to be honest. So it might be possible. I don't really know.
Yeah, a lot of questions right now. Just a lot of things up in the air. But I mean, surely any day now we get an announcement of this. I want to be proven right on this. We've been preaching this for months and months now, and it hasn't fucking happened.
It's soon. It's soon. Q1 at least.
We can only hope. But, in any case, almost a full batch now in Shueisha's hands. So, it's very noteworthy. Only 2 chapters left until that full batch is completed and in the hands of production.
I know. Makes you wonder. 20, perhaps?
20 chapter batch would be ridiculously insane, but I'd be there for it,
obviously. It would be pretty hype. Not news, but I did want to talk about this odd experience I had with Nen Survivor this past week.
That.
So, the game comes out this upcoming Tuesday on the 17th. I pre-registered a while ago. I honestly forgot I even did it until I woke up this last Monday morning and my phone told me, "Hey, Nen Survivor's out. We installed it on your phone for you." I'm like, "Okay, sweet." So I had some time in the morning, just checked it out, played the tutorial level, fought Tompa as a boss. Hell yeah. Had fun. Honestly, it was pretty fun. I mean, I'm very Vampire Survivors pilled already, so up my alley. Enjoyed it. Close it, go to work, come back that night, and it does not let me in. I'm like, okay, why? And then I look up, oh, it doesn't come out till next week, like over a week from when I was playing it. So I don't know if they just like opened the servers by accident or what for like that 1 hour or 30 minutes that I happened to play it. Because, by the way, I looked up, I haven't seen anybody else say that this happened to them. I don't see a single soul talking about this. I do not know what happened. I don't have video proof. I have a screenshot. I have it on my phone. You can't even find this on the App Store right now, but it's on my phone. I can open the app. It just doesn't let me do anything.
See, that's the Hunter Association special treatment right there.
That's right. They knew. And they also, I don't know if this is going to carry into the full release, but they gifted me like 100 million of the paid currency. So like, we'll see what happens, man. I don't know what the hell happened to me, but
it sounds like almost like you know how like when games like that release that they have like content creators and things like that kind of like get into the game early and they give them all this stuff to like, you know, explore as much of the game as possible. It sounds a lot like that, and like they just kind of let you in by accident for like like a pre like checking out the game. I'm not really sure what happened there, but if nobody else is, if there's not like a pre like trial thing for, you know, or like early access, I guess, for that game, and nobody else is talking about it, that's really odd. That's incredibly strange.
It's very, very odd, because that was also a thought I had, but I can't even find like a YouTube video about this. Like, there's no content creators, unless they have like an embargo. Like, maybe it'll come out, like they recorded it already and it'll be out later, but dude, I have no idea. So weird. But hey, I played it and I thought it was really fun, actually, so for what it's worth, there you go.
Yeah. You'll have to update us on the next episode of the podcast whenever the game's out, if you know if anything has changed in your status of your account since then.
Yeah, I'm so curious to see if I keep all that currency, man. That's gonna be pretty sick. I'll be set for life. But yeah.
Then Survivor's biggest fan incoming.
Yep, that's me. So yeah, that's that. All right, that's all I got. I think we're ready to talk about 99.
Yeah, we have a big start to this last section of 99, so let's go ahead and get into it.
Let's do it. Hi everybody, welcome to our discussion on Hunter x Hunter 1999 episodes 71 and 72. So, this first aired on, and you know, I mean, we call this 99 in general, this is called 99, but we are well into the 2000s now. We've been for a long time, actually, since like the end of the Hunter exam. But we are in 2003. February 5th, 2003 is when this came out, released. It didn't air, obviously. I don't know why I wrote aired on the doc, but whatever. It came out February 5th, 2003 and went till April 16th of that same year. I guess multiple DVDs. I don't really know how these are released typically.
That's what I would assume to be the case, yeah. Just multiple DVD releases over those few months.
Yeah. And this continues the trend of every OVA having a new director. The next OVA, the next Green Island will also have a new director, but this one is directed by Matsushita Yukihiro, who has previously directed nothing. I looked, he's not like a no-name. He's done a lot of like key animation and episode directing, but this is his only full series direction credit I can find, which is really interesting.
Huh. Interesting, yeah.
Yeah, that's just the weird history of this. It's about, what, I think a year and a half-ish out from the previous OVA's release.
That sounds about right, yeah. So a pretty decent wait in between those OVAs, yeah.
And because we are now in the early 2000s, we also have the advent of digital animation.
Oh,
and boy, can you tell.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's this will be interesting to see where the animation goes for this part. I'm very curious, to say the least.
Yeah, so yeah, you can immediately tell that this is a very different animation style. We start with the opening, by the way, which is called Pray by a band called Wish, who is very unknown. Also could not find really anything else they have ever done.
Song was good though. I gotta
It
say.
was. I actually really enjoy this opening. It's pretty nice. It's a good vibe. Nice song.
Now the visuals are a little, but that's okay.
Yeah.
The song carried.
Yeah, it's a good song. The visuals aren't bad. They're just kind of.
They're very simple though. Like it's not
Yeah.
nothing groundbreaking by any means. It's nothing like whoa, this is awesome. Like no, it's just like
No.
going punching
at
a
all.
rock. Like.
Yeah. Get to see Bisky though for a second. That's our only look at Bisky thus far.
Yeah, we
Looks
see
good.
a little spiky-haired guy with glasses in the background too. I wonder who that is. I wonder.
Interesting. Very interesting. Brown hair though? Did I see that right?
It was brown hair. That
Yeah.
is actually interesting.
It is interesting. So we start. Oh, by the way, we have new subtitles because this isn't the same group that did the previous series, so terms are different. Got to get used to that. They call the Phantom Troop the Ryodon, so got to get used to that
Wow,
garbage.
yeah.
Whatever.
Yippee.
But yeah, we it's really funny how there's just no like ceremonious start at all. It really just starts like this is another episode. Completely just we're just back. We're here.
Mm-hmm.
Carry on.
Yeah, nothing happened.
Yeah. So they're waiting on Kurapika to get better. Well, Gon's not actually. We start the episode by Gon basically saying like, "Man, I hope Kurapika stays sick forever. That'd be awesome."
I had to like remind myself that like that was an intentional dialogue choice, and I got really confused at first reading the subtitles. Like, was that like a mistranslation? Like,
Yeah. Yeah, he wants him to not push himself and not pursue the troop, obviously, but I mean, it's gonna happen. Just not now. So they're talking about that. This is very Kurapika focused. Both of these episodes, honestly, are pretty not about him, but he's definitely more of a presence than he was in the source material, which is intentional. And we'll talk about that more when we get to the ED, by the way, which is fascinating to say the least. So, yeah, it's just them talking about his situation. Basically, recap, the drill. We're just going over, like, what just happened, what the gang went through. That's a good chunk of the episode. I'd say about, like, a quarter is them just kind of talking about prior events.
yeah,
Interspersed with new stuff.
Yeah, which given this how this was released, in the form of an OVA, like a year and a half after the last batch of OVAs were even released on DVD, it makes sense, to include a recap of some sort like that, considering the circumstances for that release. So
Yeah.
not something I'm necessarily opposed to, given the circumstances there,
Yeah,
to be expected.
Yep. And we got the return of Zepile, who's just
Finally.
here like nothing happened. Like he wasn't erased from history. He's here, guys.
Yep, he was here all along. Actually, you just couldn't see him.
Yeah. You couldn't see him. Yeah, he was just out of frame every scene.
That's right.
No longer has green skin, which is nice. It's not hulking out.
Yeah, no, his skin tone is pretty consistent here. I think. So,
Yeah.
Good sign. Thumbs up.
And so I guess real quick, since now we're at the point we've pretty much seen all the main cast at this point already. The designs are slightly adjusted. They aren't as drastic of a change as I thought they would be. They still largely look like the 99 character designs, just brighter colors, which is kind of the name of the game so far in this OVA. Very, very bright everything is.
Which I'm not opposed to on paper, just solely because of the vibe shift that's going to be happening once we actually get into Great Island proper. I think kind of a color tone shift like that maybe is even warranted to kind of start moving away from some of the darker tones and themes that Yorknew presented thus far, right?
Yeah. So Kurapika is going through some stuff. He's this is mostly entirely anime original. It's in the manga it's more clear he's sick, he's recovering, but in the anime they give him this whole thing where he's kind of, it's sort of like a PTSD type of thing. I'd describe it as. Would you agree
He's
with
like
that?
fighting like an internal battle basically the entire time.
Yeah.
It's really interesting, and it's still something I'm actively thinking on even. But it does create for a really cool like little moment here that we see where he kind of like rises up from like his like bedding and it's kind of like yeah, his eyes are like visibly like shaking basically, and he's like kind of freaking out almost. It's really interesting, I think.
Yeah, it's a really interesting spot to put him in. They also don't put him in an actual bed. He's just like on the floor.
Yeah,
So
what
funny.
I wanted to mention this too. Like, what room are they housing him in right now? Like, it's just like this like abandoned like crumpled up building with just a random room in it. Like,
Yeah, this was confusing to me. I meant to actually go back and look, but I am pretty confident. Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong. I'm just kind of speaking out of my ass here, but I'm pretty confident in the manga in 2011 for what it's worth. It's just a normal hotel that they're all staying in. They're just in different rooms. That's what I thought. That's what I remembered, and I know at least Kurapika is in an actual bed in the source material. I can at least say that. I don't know what this abandoned building stuff is. I'm really maybe it is normal and I'm just misremembering, but it's
um,
very odd.
the only thing that makes it make sense to me, I guess, is like obviously they're trying to keep Kurapika hidden from potentially being hunted down by the rest of the
Yeah.
troop. So maybe they just picked a random like non-conspicuous building to hide him in while he recovers. Like it makes sense that way. But like functionally, you could do the same thing with like an actual hotel. So like, I don't know. We're
Yeah.
interesting setting choice there for this.
It really is. Yeah, I don't really understand fully. I mean, I get it to some degree, but not that much.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they're Kurapika's out cold basically. They're just trying to keep him afloat, trying to talk to him, but he's really, really out of it, as we'll see as the episode progresses. Meanwhile, Gon and Kilo are just kind of talking about Kurapika, and it's again basically just recap stuff, just talking about like reflecting on what they've done and what Kurapika just did and went through, and saying exactly what Dylan just said, like gotta keep him safe from the other troop members. They could know his secrets, yada yada. But then Kilo brings everything back into focus and is like, all right, so now this is basically over. How about Greed Island? What are we
How
doing?
about some gaming time?
Yes, how about we game? Let's become gamers. So Gon previously had discussed that he has a plan to get into Greed Island. And Killua is trying to get that out of him at this point, and we have this interesting scene where he keeps asking questions building up to... Well, no, he just asks first, and then he just kind of slowly goads him into telling him what the plan is as a spider. Like, how do I even explain this? Like, with each sentence Killua says, the spider walks further across to the left of the screen. I don't know what that's about, but I thought it was really funny.
But then also when Killua goes to strangle Gon because he's like, just tell me already. The spider's also like rapidly going across the
Yeah.
floor the entire time.
Yeah. Yep. It's
Interesting.
really funny.
It's pretty funny, but yeah, I don't know. Interesting observation there.
So he ends up getting it out of him, but we don't get to hear it until later, what his genius plan is. But Kilo actually takes it really well. He's like, oh, okay, yeah. Why didn't I think of that? Is literally what he says. So all that fear of telling him the plan for nothing because he was into it.
He's like, wait, actually, you're kind of cooking.
Yeah, cooking, bro. Then back to Kurapika, Melody decided to prop him up like in the corner because I guess that's more comfortable for him, which I thought was just fascinating. They're doing some interesting stuff with Kurapika here. I don't dislike it. It's just unique.
Yeah, it's a very yeah, it's just different, right? And I'm really not opposed to kind of having a soft focus wrapping up Yorknew here to kind of showcase like the lasting effects that this entire encounter has on Kurapika going forward. Right?
Yeah. So this this Kurapika thing kind of becomes our B plot throughout these two episodes as the boys are trying to do Greed Island-esque things. So we leave Kurapika there for now, just leaning against the wall as, Leorio just says, like, he must be fighting some kind of battle that we can't possibly know about.
Mm-hmm.
And then the boys and Zepile, he's just here. Accept it. He's with the crew, and they all go to the auction. Zepile gets distracted. His goal is completely different. He's not really involved in the Greed Island process per se. He's just trying to get them money from other by other means, I believe, right? Because
Yeah,
I don't know what he's doing.
he's getting involved in auctions of like other items, I believe, and the ultimate goal is to get enough money to be able to get Gon's hunter's license back. I believe. I might be missing some steps there, but that's
Well, no, it's not quite that. I think it's because they're just gonna unpawn it basically, but I think they have to give them the money back, and they spent some of it, so they're not exactly buying. Well, I guess they kind of are buying it back in a weird
kind of
way.
Yeah. It's just a means to an end, right?
Yeah.
In any case, though, he's not really involved in the Great Island part specifically. Obviously, he's off doing that goal basically for them.
Yes. And then the boys encounter the troop immediately as soon as they enter the hall, which is a shame because we missed the little moment that I always like about this encounter where they're sitting down first and they both kind of spot each other and they're like, wait a second, what the hell? But I guess the troop just kind of already knew they were there, which I think is a little less funny. But the moment of them seeing them and Gon and Kilo immediately booking it is still intact, and it's hilarious.
Yeah. No, yeah,
it's
I was about to say.
Frame one.
It's like, it's equally funny. It's like literally the moment Finks says, hey, it immediately cuts to them just like turned around booking it. So the comedic timing of that is still intact at least. So,
yeah, it's still funny, just in a different way. So yeah, it's Finks and Phaeton. They have this classic scene where they're just kind of talking about what the hell is even going on right now. Why are they here? What has happened since? And Phaeton is actually the one. By the way, I don't know why. It's just really off-putting to see Phaeton without his cloak in this adaptation in particular. I don't know why. It just looks wrong.
Yes, and also the fisheye lens shot.
Yes,
of him might be the biggest forehead in this entire series from that point of view.
Forehead king, yeah. Yeah, that was crazy. But he tells them that they have no intentions of hurting them, which is really funny to hear from Phaeton, of all people, who was previously trying to torture them.
Yeah.
But then we get a little backstory on what exactly happened. Actually, no. What we get here is an explanation on postmortem Nen first.
Mm-hmm. The very beginning of that concept.
Yes.
Which I always really love.
Yeah, so Franklin is the one talking about how, in some cases, Nen gets stronger after death, depending on, the person's heart or their desires in their fleeting moments.
Mm-hmm.
They have a lot of rage in their heart. Could come back to bite them, so they're worried that killing Kurapika would result in his postmortem Nen, which his Nen is already affecting Crollo at this very moment. So if he dies, that might get amped up, and he'll just eat shit and die as well. That's
especially considering he doesn't have Nen right now to protect himself. So
yeah, he's toast, potentially. It's all theory, but it's a good one and definitely actually something to worry about.
Yeah, so at that point, they're like, okay, maybe we just kind of give that up for a little while. Let's focus on helping our boss first and foremost, right?
Yeah.
However we can, because they can't even interact with them.
Right, exactly, yeah. They're in a very tricky spot right now, to say the least. But so Finks tells them about that aspect of it, why they can't hurt Kurapika right now, and Phaeton's signaling him, don't tell him too much. He's smarter than that. And then Gon asks about Paku, to which Finks tells him that she died and that she wanted to thank them in her last moment,
sweet.
Which is a really nice scene. I've always really liked that. So they walk away. Gon and Kilo breathe a sigh of relief because the tension must have been ridiculous. I can only imagine. And now Killua is worried about, because Paku's dead, that means one thing. She spilled everything.
Yep.
So that's definitely cause for concern.
Now, while all this, serious, questioning is happening, also Zepile is kind of, fumbling around like an idiot in the background, and that might have been what I was focusing on a little bit more when watching. I'm not gonna lie, it was
watch.
really funny.
Yeah.
He was like trying to like touch a vase that like shouldn't be touched or something.
Yeah, something like that. And by the way, I guess worth noting, I kind of skipped over this, but the part that Phaeton did not want Finks to go too far and say is that basically Nen exorcists exist. There is a way to get rid of the Nen affecting Crollo, at least they think. So, and now they
More on
need
that later.
means to do that. Yeah. So now in the auction hall, the auction is starting. See some heavy players, including Miluki. He's trying his best. All this build up, and well, to say the least, it doesn't go his way.
No. Question for you, Kaige. What do we think about the design of this auctioneer lady that's presenting all the items?
Yeah, this is one a comment mentioned her last week, and I've always liked this design. I think it's really nice. They all look exactly the same. It's like a whole crew of the same lady, basically, which is funny. Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, no, they're cool. I wanted to mention that specifically because of that comment that we got on Club Shitto's video.
Yeah, this would have been a good one to mention. It's definitely another, like, Togashi cute girl.
Yeah, in that same vein, for sure.
Yeah. So the auction's set up. None of this is important at all. We're just talking about whatever. An auction is happening. Judgment-free zone. Bid on whatever you want. An inclusive auction.
Yeah, very inclusive auction.
Really
Except
nice.
maybe not, because it's only for rich people, like stupid.
Yeah,
rich
like
people.
ridiculously rich people. So then we get another small cut into Kurapika, and this is like a really sad scene because so he gets up and he's asking, what is he saying? Like, well, what happened to the boss? What's going on? What's the situation? That kind of deal. And Melody's just like, this is like the, I don't know, third or something time that this interaction has happened. It's so sad. And Leorio speculates like, or I don't know, Melody or Leorio, one of the two says that his memories must be all mixed up because of the fever, and he's just like, he doesn't want to admit that Squalla is dead and that the eyes aren't in his possession, which is really sad. It's
incredibly sad, man. Like, he's just having a manic episode at this point while he's sick, and it's so brutal to watch unfold in these scenes as they go on. It
really is. Our poor buddy. Back to the auction. Some time has passed, and we're now at the part where they are bidding on the first copy of Greed Island. They demonstrate it. It's a magic joy station. Doesn't need to be plugged in to run, and if you try to break it with a sledgehammer, it does not work.
Yeah, this big, muscular, built dude falls on his ass completely.
Yeah. So the auction begins. They explain all the things, by the way, like die in the game, die in real life. You got to put a memory card in to get in. 8 players max per console. Mm-hmm. All that classic Island stuff.
Talking about this like pro hunter that went in there to complete the game, and he has not come out, and he had like a contract basically stating if he didn't clear the game by January 1st, 2001, that all the games and systems would be donated to the 7-piece auction. That's how they're all here.
Yep. He is still in there though.
Yeah, just he never came out, so we don't know what happened to him.
No. So all this is happening, and Zeppow's just like, what? Like, what are you talking about?
Like, why are you guys so interested? They have these dead bodies of like people that were found near the systems that they did a horrible job blurring out, by the way.
Yeah, terrible.
Thought it was really funny. Like, what was that gonna do?
I don't know. I guess it's just to let people know what they're in for. The bidding starts. What is this number? 1 billion. Starts at 1 billion, Jenny. And it carries on. The main bidders are Miluki and Batera, obviously. And then Gon, just I guess for fun, decides to put his thumb up and that doubles the bid. So now it's at like a ridiculous. What is it like?
24 billion.
24 billion.
And he was like, "Well, I was just wondering what it meant, you know." Like,
So now there's a funny moment where they're all panicking, like, dude, if nobody outbids us, we are fucked. It's over.
yeah, worst case scenario, we go to jail. What an end to the series that would be.
Yes. But he does get outbidded by Batera, followed by Miyuki. The two of them have a bidding war, and obviously Batera ends up winning. We don't know he's Batera yet, but I mean, it is Batera.
That all being said, also though, my favorite part of that entire bit was Killua after the fact. He was like, "That was way too close, Gon." Although I was gonna do the same thing too. Like, okay.
Yeah. Of course.
Zapile is so ready to be done with these kids, I think.
Yeah.
At this point.
No kidding. Batera wins. Miyuki's pissed, and he'll continue to get pissed later on. But this is round 1 of being beaten. It sells for like what is it? 30 billion? 30 billion 500 million?
Yes. 30.5 billion Jenny.
Ridiculous, to say the least. Dude, this guy is unfathomably rich. Like, holy shit. I don't know if anybody in history is as rich as this guy. He buys, I mean, we'll talk about it later, I guess, but he's going to end up buying like 7 copies for various billions of dollars. He dropped well over $1 trillion.
Yeah.
On all these. Plus hiring hunters, like what? How much money does this guy have? It's
plus
ridiculous.
Plus hiring hunters. Plus he still has an offer out for over 50 billion for a memory card that contains cleared game data.
Yeah.
Which I doubt that even exists, to be honest. But like just the fact that he has that offer out to begin with is ridiculous.
Yeah, it's insane, dude. More on that much later, but we'll talk about his reasons why when we get there. By the way, since we cut back to the troop, I want to mention Machi's hair color has changed once again. It is now purple.
It did.
So we're seeing the evolution from pink to blue, or wait,
blue to pink.
Blue to pink. Sorry,
because it was blue. Now it's purple, and it'll be pink in 2011.
In 2011. So
when they do another reboot of the series in like 2035, it's gonna be just straight red for her hair color.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, purple Machi. Not crazy about this one, honestly.
I don't dislike it. I mean, like, I think my point of view on Machi's hair is like any kind of neonish color is gonna like work for her. Like just bright colors for her hair. It just, I don't know. It just works. She's still Machi.
Yeah. So the troop they're just kind of reading about Greed Island. That's pretty much all we have to note about that scene, personally. And Machi hair color.
Yeah.
Then, back with Batera and who we will know later as Sesgera. They're just talking about their situation as Gon and Killua approach and ask if they can be hired to help them clear Greed Island. And Batera just laughs really hard.
Yeah, he is so amused by this.
Asshole. But he explains that they are pro hunters. They really are. Well, kind of, at least. Gon doesn't have his license right now, and Killua never passed. But, you know, they are pro hunters, I guess. They have the skills, at least. They can prove it. At least they think they can.
Yeah. It is pretty hard to believe, just like looking at
it,
like, for any given person.
I wouldn't believe it. So basically, moral of the story is he's not buying it, but they end up talking about the details they already know, just kind of candidly, and that catches his attention. Like, oh, they have a memory card and a ring. It's the ring part that really gets him going. Like, they have the memory card, but then they just casually mention, like, oh, the ring. And he's like, oh, okay, wow, they know about that too. So these kids must know what they're talking about.
Yeah.
So that catches his attention enough to get Sesgera to test them. So he tells them to activate their Ren. And immediately he's just like, that sucked.
He's like, yeah, you're gonna die immediately when you go in there.
Yeah, you're cooked if you enter the game.
I want to make mention also, while all this is happening, we're getting like random cutaways like in between parts of this scene to I believe it's like the Joy Station that was just auctioned off.
Yes.
It's being delivered somewhere, I supposedly like by Batera's company or something. I don't really know who these guys are, if I'm being for real right now. But yeah, I figured it's probably important to just talk about this now as well. But like, yeah, the troop is obviously stealing that shit.
Yeah, they weren't actually interested in buying it in an auction.
Go figure.
Yeah, I know, shocker. So yeah, they by the end of the episode they have that in their possession. And anything else of note happen? I guess we end the episode. Oh, okay, yeah, actually, I do want to talk about this. We end the episode with this cool Kurapika moment. It's probably my favorite part of this whole subplot, where he's, I guess, just like heavily hallucinating. It's a really like surreal scene. I wouldn't really know how to describe it properly. The camera's doing all kinds of funky stuff. The lighting is more akin to the TV run, actually. It's darker. And he's telling Leorio and Melody about he's talking about postmortem men, I think, right? He's kind of mumbling about it.
Yeah, he's like just kind of mumbling about it to himself almost.
Yeah. And
he had the lines which I thought was really cool too, like the spiders can't kill me even if they want to. So like aware that even his men would probably linger even after death.
Yeah,
which I thought was really interesting.
Yeah, that is very interesting that he's aware of that.
But yeah, then it leads into this weird like shaky camera scene where like he's seeing like he's hallucinating like both like Uvo and Pakunoda like right in front of him.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that a lot. That was a really effective scene to me. But just the imagery of him seeing the ghosts of the two that he killed, even if indirectly, for Pakunoda.
Yeah, it's just a reminder, like, you know, he's getting like revenge slowly but surely, but like, you know, he's still gonna be haunted by those actions as well. So like, who knows if it'll ever even be fulfilling for him? And I just think that's really neat.
Yeah. Then the episode ends, and we get the ending, which is called Popcorn by Mikuni Shimokawa. And it's Kurapika focused, which is a choice. I feel like this is the equivalent of clickbait to people buying this DVD. Because you see this massive focus on Kurapika in the first episode and in the ED, and you're like, all right, Kurapika action incoming. And no, he will be absent for a long, long time.
Oh my gosh.
That threw me off guard, but I liked it for what it's worth. I like the song. The visuals are pretty cool, actually. I thought, at least.
Yeah, no,
Simple,
it looks nice.
Cool.
It sounds nice. It just is wildly unfitting for the arc that's literally just about to happen.
Yeah, like, it works for these 2 episodes, but once we get into Greed Island, I can't imagine ending an episode dealing with, like, Genthru, and then we get this as the ED. It's just so wildly not what is happening right now.
Now, don't you know, Kurapika's going to come into the game himself and then deal with the bomber, you know, himself to save his friends, right?
Peak writing, yep.
That's that's what it's hinting towards, yeah.
Yeah, it's all masterful foreshadowing.
Before we wrap up our general thoughts on this episode too, I wanted to circle back to the moment of both Finks and Phaeton actually stealing the Joy Station from the guys in suits in the car or whatever. Because we didn't really talk about it that much, but honestly, the little like snippets of action that was like showcased and animated there, I thought was like really cool. I'm not gonna lie. It was very punchy, and that's a very big difference from how action was depicted every other part of 99 pretty much so far. It was very just fast-paced, very fluid.
Yeah, I really liked it. And the sound effects weren't really that bad. There are still some jank sound effects, but I think there's a noticeable improvement generally. They kind of
Yeah,
fit in more, I would say.
just the way like it was framed of like the car running into things, right, and then like the car like blowing up on the tree, and the guy with the
Yeah.
suitcase like running out of the car. Like it was all like
Yeah.
happening so incredibly quickly. But I like that because the troop just deals with those situations as quickly as that too.
Yeah, I mean, this is
You know,
nothing to them. This is just like walking into a convenience store. It's literally just an everyday task for them.
literally like taking candy from a baby.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I thought that was really cool. And yeah, so generally, just episode 1 impressions, I think it looks fine. I don't know. It's different, but it's of the era. It definitely fits in with every other thing that came out in 2003.
Mm-hmm.
I'm fine with it so far.
I got no complaints so far, and I think a lot of that can be attributed to like some of the more unique choices they had for like direction of certain scenes, especially relating to Kurapika.
Mm-hmm.
It made it stand out from a lot of other 99 episodes that we've seen so far. Not in a bad way necessarily, though. I do kind of appreciate the strive to have like a different presentations, for lack of a better term, right?
Yeah.
And although you can definitely notice the difference in art style starting with this episode, nothing has stood out to me as like egregiously like bad or like different in a worse sense yet. That could easily change as we go on further into this, but
Mm-hmm.
so far I like it so far. It's not bad.
Yeah, totally. So this now brings us to episode 72, which is called Electricity
Electricity.
Aura
There you go.
Special Attack.
Yippee.
So we're getting places.
Mm-hmm.
So episode starts with going coming back into his room and he's pissed. This is literally what I used to do when I had a bad day at school. Come in my room and start throwing shit and screaming.
Yeah. Chucks the backpack onto the couch
Yeah.
and everything.
By the way, I forgot to mention it, but his fishing rod is in the background in the last episode against a wall.
Oh yeah.
Little cameo.
Yeah, little cameo before it's forgotten about forever.
Forever. Yep. So, yeah, that also flashes back to extended conversations between them and Batera and Sesgera. Nothing really to note there. It's kind of just talking more about Greed Island, explaining more of the rules, like the ring. You know, if you get that, you can. That's the thing that enables you to go
Return
back
to
and
the
forth.
world. Yes, return to the real world. And Sesgera is basically explained to them that like with the way your guys then are now, like you won't even reach that point. So like
No.
there's no point. And then Batera even elaborates that like of like the 32 systems that I have currently, which is ridiculous by the way.
Yeah. Insane.
How much generational wealth within
Seriously,
those
richest guy ever.
systems. But he's basically explained like I only have like 100 slots of hunters total basically to let into the game because half of them are probably not even gonna be anywhere close to even completing the game. So like I have to
No.
choose my candidates very carefully.
And tons of them are probably just never even going to leave, so spots will not even open up, which
Yeah.
sucks. So, yeah, that's pretty much all that happens there. They also explain, or Sesgera explains that he's roughly 80% of the way through the game in 6 months, which he also explains that that's because he's not really, what was the wording? He's like not being proficient or something. I
Yeah,
don't know.
like he's handling other obligations and assisting Batera and stuff. And
Yeah.
I think he basically just straight up said like, yeah, like the moment I go back into that game and like focus on that again, I think I'll complete it in that session. So
Yeah.
he's very confident, obviously.
Yeah, we'll see if that confidence holds up later. So,
Surely.
they and also on his way out, Sesgera asks like, "Okay, so how do you like know all that? How do you get the memory card?" And Gon's like, "I'm not telling you," like a brat.
Yeah, he's like I tell you, like
Yeah,
okay.
literally said, "Nuh-uh."
Fair enough, I guess. So he was kind of an asshole to them.
He was, yeah. So then back in the room, Gon is just pissed, plain and simple. Kilo's trying to talk him out, like, all right, we can do this, and Gon's like being snappy with him, and even Kilo's like, don't snap at me like that. he's losing it.
He's like, I'm trying to help you out, man. Yeah.
This is Chimera Ant foreshadowing.
It low key is though.
A little bit. Yeah, it's more
not
of a jokey thing, but this is showcasing that Gon doesn't have a great control over his emotions.
Yeah, and like he's just the fact that he lashed out even a little bit at Kilo over this, like, it's not really a whole lot now, but like throw in higher stakes in the situation. Very well could be.
Yeah. But eventually Killua calms him down by explaining that, like, our next step should be getting a Hatsu. Getting an ultimate technique, as they call it here.
Ultimate technique.
And Killua says that he's already got his figured out, and he's intentionally being a little bit of a dick about it because he's trying to drive Gon. But he's like, I got this figured out. I'm doing all my training in private. Snooze, you lose.
Yep, it's a secret. Figure it out yourself.
Secret. And then he leaves the room, and it's like, I hope it wasn't too hard on him, basically.
Which I don't think he was. I think it made sense to me.
Yeah, it's. I think it's necessary. Meanwhile, with the troop, they're messing around with their new toy. they're literally just playing around with this thing. Phaeton just says fuck it and goes inside, and everybody's like, what? Wow. Yeah. I like to imagine that's literally what he said before he did it. Why not? And then Finks is like, I don't know about you guys, but that shit was awesome. I'm going in.
Yeah, he was like, whoa, that looks sick. Let me try.
Yeah. So nobody else
go have fun, is what he says.
Yeah. Nobody else seems too into it, but he goes in, and he's gone. That's it. They just disappear, and they're all just like, oh, all right.
It's so telling and just so funny that like this thing has been hyped up. It's like, yeah, no, you die in the game, you die in real life. Like, this is like a real danger to like even pro hunters, and the trip is just like, fuck it, we ball. And then
Finks and Phaeton heard that explanation in the auction hall. But they just like, let's do it.
All right, count me in. Like,
sign me up. I love it. And then this next thing made me laugh out loud. We cut very abruptly to a panning shot of Heaven's Arena, and it is very obviously just from the TV run. Like, it's a different quality image. They just took it. They took the animation cell and digitized it and just threw it on the screen. It's so funny. They just couldn't be bothered to draw it again, I guess.
And on top of that, you get one single shot of Zushi aura farming in front of Wing.
That's it.
Not shown again.
No. Presumably he's there the whole time, but you see him once, and that's it. So, we got a nice little Wing cameo and Zushi. The last time they are ever seen, ever. Except for last mission.
Yeah, always have to remind us of that godforsaken movie.
It's such a banger. So Gon is Gon is being a dick in this episode, and I kind of love it. It's really funny.
He's proving Killua's point, by the way.
He really is.
Man, you gotta figure this out for yourself. It's gonna be your own technique. Like, you gotta. You can't just like rely on others forever to develop this kind of stuff. And then he immediately calls when he's like, "Hey, tell me what to do."
Yes, although because I will say this sequence of events are out of order because of the weird structure. But Kurapika actually told him to do this, so
yeah.
But either way, he did go to Kurapika, and he's supposed to figure this out on his own. But hey, whatever.
Yeah.
Anyways, sequence of events are all messed up here, but he does call Wing, and I guess in the middle of the conversation.
Let's go over the Kurapika thing first, because that leads into what Wing is talking about.
Yeah, this is much easier to wrap my head around this way. So, in the middle of their phone call, we cut back to this. Why did they do this? It's so bizarre. Whatever.
It is a really weird sequencing of events. I don't know why they chose this.
But we cut back probably like 10 minutes ago, where Gon is talking to Kurapika. And Kurapika's good now, I guess. He's chilling for the most part. He's definitely really out of it still, but he's not quite
Fever
as
went
messed
down.
up as he was. Yeah, fever went down. Mission successful.
Yeah. Maybe not for Gon standards. He wished he could, have a fever forever, right? Is that what he said?
Exactly, yeah. And yeah, it's funny because he's still, even though he knows like his fever is getting better, he's still trying to like get him to relax. He's like, all right, but you can still like keep resting more, or
Yeah.
just chill and hang out with your bros.
Yeah.
You don't gotta
No,
go
you don't
after the
gotta.
troop.
Yeah. No, that's a waste of time.
Yeah, what's the point? But Gon is reassured because Kurapika says like, I still have things to do. I need to get my clan's eyes back. And Gon's like, aha, there we go. That's better.
That's
So
more
it's
like it.
yes. So not the troop, but still, evidently that we will learn later is still a very dangerous task, given the people
Yeah.
he will have to deal with. But
Even in Gon's eyes, I guess, murder anybody but the troop, that way you won't die,
yeah, yeah. So the two of them talk about how Kurapika learned Nen. It keeps cutting back and forth. That is so stupid. Whatever. I'm gonna do it straight through all the Kurapika stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, Kurapika explains the way he learned Nen, basically the same way, but because of his ability, he had to like live and breathe chains for a long time.
It's like literally all he thought about. He had like a physical chain he was handling the entire time. Then that got taken away from him as soon as he started like hallucinating and dreaming about them.
Yeah.
And then like eventually it just kind of manifested. That's the gist of it. But aside from that, yeah, like entirely the same training according to him.
Yeah. And then this kind of okay. Hold on, let me readjust here.
They go through a lot of different scenes.
Yeah,
I don't really like how they do it.
No, this is so because we also have this Killua scene real quick in here where he's manifesting the lightning.
Well, he tased himself, but yeah.
Oh well, yeah. Actually, yeah. Out of context, they don't even explain what he's doing at all. Out of context, that is very funny.
No, yeah, he's just like, doing his like usual Nen exercises, and then he just takes out a taser and just electrocutes himself.
Yeah, that's awesome. So, but whatever. I can't even find the scene scrolling through, but the Kurapika.
I'm seeing it now. I
Oh, okay.
it now.
Well, you
I
go
can
ahead.
take
You can
over.
probably do it better.
So after he explains, like, yeah, it's just using Tenon Ren every single day. Just kind of keeping up that practice. Gon's like, oh, I see. Well, will you be my teacher? Like, okay, man. The Killua just told you to figure it out yourself, and you're trying to circumnavigate that. Little dickhead. And Kurapika's just like, no, like I'm actually gonna be like leaving like, tomorrow because the auction
At the
is
earliest.
over. Yeah, at the earliest because the auction is over and I have to get back to the Strahd family. I need to keep up my work essentially, and so that means he's leaving Yorknew. Or York Shin, according to these YouTube subs I'm seeing as my reference.
Oh, wow.
York Shin. Weird.
Shin.
And Kurapika just explains that further. Basically, I have regrets about the spiders. They probably aren't here anymore, but I'm just gonna shift my priority to the eyes. I hope to see you again soon, Gon. And
Not here anymore. Right. But yeah, that's really the only kind of farewell we get between these two in particular.
Bittersweet.
Yeah, very bittersweet.
And that's when he said, you should just call your own master for this. And that's how we get to Wing.
Yes. That's,
but again, they are cutting
so convoluted.
multiples of the Kurapika scene in between all the dialogue with Wing. So it just makes the sequencing really fucked up to follow, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's especially for something like this where we're trying to recap it. It's such a pain in the ass. And also, not just intercut with that, but also the Killua stuff. We get 2 cutaways to Killua doing his Nen stuff.
Yep.
Which I would say real quick, it does actually result in him sparking a little bit between his fingertips by the end of it.
Which looks as expected. It looks like it animates fairly well. So we'll see further applications of it later in these OVAs, but not too much to speak on aside from that. But going back into the conversation with Wing, this leads into Wing going back to that conversation, going from there. Wing having gone to say, like, you could probably tell what you should not be doing for your training based off of your interaction with Kurapika there, which was essentially him saying, like, don't give up everything just for power, essentially.
Yeah, the lesson to learn from Kurapika is that he set ridiculous restraints on himself and also lived and breathed his own ability for an extended period of time. It became his life, and it still is his life even after developing it. It's too much, basically.
Yeah.
You don't got to go all out. You're an enhancer. Just focus on enhancing. It's not.
Yeah.
It doesn't got to be that complicated.
And so he simply says to him, just take it step by step. Just like, everything that you've learned here, just take it one step at a time and you will find your answer. Vague posting, as Wing likes to do.
Yeah. But I will also note that he only says all this after Gon screams at him through the phone to get this information. Please give me a hint, please. Come on.
And even after that, he's like, "No, I need a bigger hint."
Yeah.
Okay, man.
Bro, come on. He figures it out though.
Well, after Wing does give in and gives him a bigger hint, unfortunately.
Well, yes. Okay, so that jumps us ahead very far into the episode, given all the cutaways and nonsense along the way. But our end point, after all of those scenes intercut with each other, is Gon figuring it out and realizing what he has to do to develop his Nen ability,
which
his ultimate technique.
Is the result of that big hint that Wing told him, saying, "Show them everything at once."
Everything at once. Everything
Could not be
all at once.
Could not be any more clear on what he has to do from that sentence. I would be shocked if Gon didn't get it there.
So,
and he still had to think about it, so that shows his, his thought process.
Yep. So then we just have a little montage of the two of them working on their stuff. Gon's figuring out what is he doing with Gyo again? I forgot.
Well, he's remembering all the different parts of Nen, and
right.
I like this part also because it serves as a nice reminder to the viewers as well of just the different applications of Nen, like what we've learned up until this point, which 99 failed to really kind of help materialize within the average viewer, I would say. So this is definitely appreciated. But this leads to him questioning, I can't close my nodes and also release everything all at once at the same time. That's counterintuitive, Maybe Wing got something mixed up, he said.
Right.
Right, yeah. That's what happened. But he gets hyper-focused, remembering Sesgera's words about how he'll just die immediately and he's a chump and he shouldn't enter the game ever.
Yeah.
And eventually it kind of all clicks for him, and so he concentrates and he's learning how to produce a Hatsu now.
Yes. Good job, Gon. And we also get to see Killua really amping up his ability. He's now fully forming a bunch of electricity between his hands.
Looks pretty sick.
And yeah, so the Nen stuff, it is really nice to have this because, if you think early back when we were first learning Nen in Heaven's Arena, one of our questions we had was because they're explaining this so poorly, how the hell is Greed Island going to work? But they're just doing the legwork now.
Yeah.
Which is
a choice.
Fine.
To say the least.
Yeah, whatever.
Granted, the director probably, he probably didn't want to clean up this mess anymore.
No. Yeah, no, this is a new director. Keep that in mind. So he's just trying to keep up with what the other guy did.
Yeah.
Which wasn't much in this department.
Mm-hmm. But I think they did a decent job just kind of efficiently explaining the different concepts again, and just kind of putting that right before actually showcasing everything too was really smart, and not having it drag out too long before we see the visual applications of what they're explaining. Smart placement in that regard for how they segmented that.
Yeah, definitely. Now, Leorio. We get a quick shot of him in the room that Kurapika was sleeping in previously. It's completely empty now. He's just kind of inside of it looking around as we cut back to the past from this point where he's seeing Kurapika off at the airport and Melody. And they just exchange some simple words like, give Gon and Kilo my best regards, yada yada, take care of yourself. Just very simple things. And Kurapika walks off, and Leorio keeps Melody behind for a second to talk to her. Well, Melody starts by saying, like, you should change careers and be a teacher. I think you'd be better as a teacher.
Low key, she's kind of spitting.
Yeah, he would be a really good teacher. He's a wise man.
Yeah, I respect his dream, though.
Yes, exactly. So then, as she's about to walk away, Leorio stops her, and he kneels, which I think is funny. That's definitely not how you talk to short people, but I mean, it's cute. I think it's just so he can look her in the eyes, because what he's saying is important.
Yeah. Also, before this, I want to mention this line I really, really like is where Melody's like, you have like the softest, warmest heartbeat of anybody I've met in this city.
Yeah,
which is
so sweet.
A massive compliment, I think, and a testament to Leorio's character, which I really, really like, because, it's Leorio. He's our boy.
Yeah, he's a great man. So he's just talking about Kurapika. There's this line I really like. He says, he seems calm, but he's reckless, and he's smart, but he does things without thinking. So keep an eye on him.
Short, sweet, and to the point.
It's very, very sweet. I really, really liked that moment. He's being, he was kind of shy to say it at first, but he gets it out there, and I think it was well worth it.
Absolutely.
Very, very nice scene. I really like that. So, that's it. That's all we'll see for Leorio. Well, we'll see him again at the end of the episode, but that's the last time we'll hear him speak. More than likely in this entire adaptation, which is very sad to think about.
Shame. Yeah.
It's yeah, I don't know. It's weird getting to this point of 99 because we know there's no Chimera Ant or Chairman election after this, so we really are saying goodbye to these characters. This is it. We will see Kurapika again for that scene where they call him later, but I mean, whatever. That barely counts.
Yeah, it's bittersweet.
It is. Yeah.
But now we cut back to the auction hall and we get these weird jiggle physics happening with the auctioneer lady that happened immediately. And it was very,
as
like,
soon
off.
as you cut away, yeah, it's definitely a tonal shift.
It's only as funny as it is to me because 99 is like hasn't really done any kind of like weird fan servicey stuff like that in its animation before. But obviously we have a new director, so like floodgates are open. But it's also just funny that it's contrasting a really sweet scene right before that.
Yeah. That's probably the point. It's supposed to be like a funny cutaway gag, I guess.
Funny, I guess, but it's literally just like boobs bouncing for no reason. So
Yeah.
When they haven't done that ever before, so it was just entertaining, amusing to me.
Yeah.
And Billy's kind of getting his ass beat. That's what's happening right now.
So, yeah, the name of the game of this episode is cutting randomly back and forth between 100 different scenes, and that keeps happening. So we have that happening, Kurapika leaving, Leorio looking out a window and in that room. Also, Gon talking to Zeppile about how they got the license back, or he's going to get the license back at least, because he got enough money to buy it back. And Zeppile leaves. That is probably the last we'll see of him as well.
Yeah, he's just like, call me if you need me. See ya. Peace.
Later.
Deuces.
Yep. And
Batera's winning even more copies of Greed Island.
Yeah, Miluki got his ass beat completely. Batera bought everything, which again, unfathomable wealth. Well over $1 trillion or Jenny spent. And I don't know the exchange rate. I don't know. Maybe $1 trillion isn't that much, like for the dollar. I don't know, man.
Yeah.
But ridiculous amount regardless. And
so he eats his heart out. He goes and eats his heart out at some restaurant and says, "I'll go home," and that's it. Great outing. Yeah, you had a lot of productive time there.
Yeah. So then we see well, actually we see Zepile again real quick. He's just like, why am I such a show off? And then he passes
Yeah, and
by
he
Leorio.
completely fucking dono walls Leorio as he walks past. Like, he just ignores him completely.
Yeah. They were bros in the manga, man. That shit gets completely written over here. What a
Oh, yeah,
shame.
they are stranger. Or Leorio's like, yo, man, like, like, how's it going? And he just
Yep.
walks off. All
All right, man.
right, yeah, and that's the last we see of Zepile probably ever. So awesome, love that.
Yep. And then Leorio. Actually, we will see him again when Kilo retakes the hunter exam. But
Oh, you're right. You're right. Yeah, forgot about that.
but then Leorio just kind of exchanges a glance with Gon, and like a knowing glance about Kurapika being gone, and then we get the line again of Wing saying, you know why you shouldn't follow his training regime or whatever, that kind of
Yeah.
deal. As Leorio shuts the door that Kurapika was sleeping in, and we end the episode.
Very interesting episode altogether. I won't say it was bad, but like I don't know why things were ordered the way they were in this episode. I
Yeah.
think they like overcooked on like trying to sequence these events. I think.
Yeah, it's just really off. Like, it's a very strangely directed episode. I don't really understand why we didn't just do everything in order. But
I know what they were going for and like trying to do like the classic thing of like intertwining scenes between each other to like for like dramatic effect basically, or to kind of like have like pose these questions in the viewer's mind and then have them answered like in a different context than they're expecting. It's like the classic like anime kind of thing that you see even in modern episodes today. But they just did it way too much for scenes that really didn't need it. It was kind of the bottom line
yeah,
for me.
no, it's completely unnecessary. It looked fine though, visually, I thought. So,
Yeah, no, it looked fine. Again, wasn't anything like groundbreaking happening, but like at least with like the actual Hatsu effects that we're starting to see, like they looked fine enough. So can't really complain there too much. I will say the soundtrack for these two OVAs, because that's something that I expected a change for as well going into this new director for these episodes. Not gonna lie, didn't really stand out to me too much. That could change
yeah.
later, but yeah, definitely a downgrade I think so far from the Yorknew OVAs on that note.
Yeah, I completely agree. The soundtrack just really faded into the background for me. I like honestly, anytime I noted it, like I heard it and was listening to it, I was like, this kind of sucks. So, we'll see. But
It could get better. I'm having an open mind on it. We're only 2 episodes in, so
yeah.
no
Also,
too harsh of judgments yet.
Small correction: we're actually not done with Leorio. He's still around. We are done with Kurapika though. He'll be here for like another episode or two, probably one episode. Just before somebody corrects me in the comments on that.
Joke's on you. They've already corrected you before they got to this part.
Yeah, you're probably right. All right. Yeah, not a whole lot. This is an interesting introduction to this OVA. I thought they were pretty fine episodes. The second one was definitely worse. It was mediocre, but I thought the first one was good enough.
Yeah, nothing egregious yet. So that's nice to know at least.
Yeah, we're not in Greed Island yet, so it's kind of a weird spot. We're not not really judging it fully yet because we're kind of wrapping up a previous thing and also setting up the next thing.
Yeah,
I think the real test of this adaptation will be once we actually get to Greed Island. I want to see how things look. I want to see what characters look like, how they sound. Whole new ballpark now.
Who knew?
Who knew ballpark?
Yes. That's going to be the real test of like what these OVAs will bring to the table, I think, because like you said, right now we're kind of cleaning up Yorknew while simultaneously setting up for Greed Island, while not actually being like knee deep into it yet. So, not too much to judge off of in that case.
Mm-hmm. All right. Is that all we got for these 2 episodes?
Yeah, no, I think we touched on everything I wanted to touch on.
All right. Let's go ahead and see what you guys had to say then.
All right. Okay, now it's time to see what you guys have to say about Hunter x Hunter 1999 episodes 71 and 72, starting with the Greed Island OVAs today. Usual reminder, if you want to get in on the fun discussing any given topic week to week, make sure you keep an eye out for the YouTube community posts, as well as the call-out posts on Twitter and Bluesky. And of course, if you want to email us your thoughts on any given topic, you can do so at hunterassociationpod@gmail.com. So, starting off with a Bluesky response today from Milu Kitty, saying, "Hi, I'm back. Did you miss me?" Yes, we did miss you very dearly. These OVAs aren't dubbed in Spanish, so I'm watching the Japanese plus subs versions like everyone else. Oh, welcome to the club now.
You're welcome.
I will miss the little notes that you had about like Spanish dub like differences, though. I thought those were amusing. Episode 71. How do we feel about the haunting blue eyes plus dirty blonde / brunette design of Bluesky in the OP? I know it's more accurate to Tagashi's coloring, but it's like seeing a possessed doll. She does have a different design in the OP. We didn't touch on that.
Yeah, I'm kind of saving it for later, but first thoughts of just seeing it in the opening, it is quite different. Lipstick different, like that threw me off. Like very pronounced lipstick is not something I was expecting. And yeah, like hair color really didn't throw me off too much because exactly like you said, that is how Togashi colors it. So I mean, I'm kind of used to seeing it that way. It's not really that surprising. I like it personally. I always, to be honest, as iconic as it is, I always thought 2011's like hyper blonde hair was a little too bright, but I don't know. That's a little bit of a nitpick.
Yeah, like I could take either or design, to be honest, and so to that end, I think this looks fine. I want to save my judgments on it too, but until I actually see her on the screen in a prominent role, you know.
Yeah, we'll see her next week.
Yeah. Why does everyone except Gon have the same green / gray eye color in this episode, though? I actually didn't notice that. I wasn't paying attention to the eyes.
Yeah, I didn't notice that either.
I believe you, though. Yeah. That is interesting. Oh, optimistic Killua, rare apparition. Bonolanov is still a freak in the background. I say, yeah, he still has like the brown like bandages or whatever. What is going on with him?
I don't know. They just didn't know what he was, I guess.
And also, I think he's the only troop member now that hasn't spoken a single word since being introduced.
Yeah, you're definitely right. He's the only one.
Hilarious. Is Kurapika hallucinating? Well, I think that's new. Yeah, it's completely
it's new.
Anime original stuff. And which again, I don't really mind. I think it's kind of neat. You know?
That's cool.
So. Moving on to episode 72. Nen, better explain this time. I like the reflective tone they give to Gon as he searched for his own Hatsu. Yeah, it was a pretty solid presentation for actually reintroducing Nen as a concept because they failed to explain it earlier.
Yeah.
Leorio kneels to talk to Melody. Well, I know the height difference is big, but that's kind of disrespectful.
I know. It's definitely just so he could look her in the eyes, though. Which I don't know. Like, if I was that short and somebody did that to me, I don't know how I would take it. It's really hard for me to imagine. But how else are you gonna do it? How else are you gonna look directly in their eyes?
I mean, yeah, you have to do that. And to be fair to Leorio, like, Melody is like completely trusting of him by this point, so it's not like I don't think she would take that as disrespect, even given the heartbeat comments right before that, especially.
Yeah.
I feel like these 2 episodes have a lot of unnecessary information that was already given to us previously, but oh well, that's because they're OVAs. Have to imagine. Yeah, it's purely because it's an OVA that was the previous set was released like a year and a half prior to, so. It's kind of a necessary thing to have for people who are purely only keeping up with those at the time.
Yeah, it's just a necessary evil, if you want to call it that.
Mm-hmm. So
I thought this was done pretty naturally, though, honestly. I think it was done better than the previous OVA equivalent.
At the very least, I had more to talk about with how they went about it for this one, and I didn't really have much to talk about it for last time.
No.
Other than it being, I remember being more annoyed at it. More so.
I mean, yeah, if you guys recall, that first episode of the first OVA series, we had like nothing to say. That was a rough batch.
It was
But
very rough, yeah. But they
yeah,
did it very efficiently for this, so that it wasn't like majority of the episode where it was recap. So that made it a lot nicer to talk about today, at least.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, thank you for the response, Mila Kitty. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Next up is from Edo Kava, who says, Episode 71, finally, a worthy opponent to that one frame with neon you used as a cover for episode 49 to 51. Oh, yeah. The Phaeton. So this is where the Phaeton meme was taken from. Is that a meme?
It might be a meme. I've probably seen it before, and it's just not coming to mind, to be honest. I'd believe it, though.
Yeah, I believe it. It's hilarious. It's like not even a well done fisheye lens either.
No.
It kind of looks like ass. Like they did not draw that angle correctly, but
no,
it's funny. Episode 72. This episode was really slow. Yeah, it was. The final scene with Leora and Melody was good, but Miluki's character arc was definitely the highlight. Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah. If not just to see him lose repeatedly over and over again. It's just very funny.
Hilarious.
All right. Moving on to Magitech's comment. It's the beginning of a new age. Let's go. Let's say go. He's Mario now.
Yeah, he is.
Episode 71. And we start in the very dilapidated apartment that they started using as a hideout from the spider. Oh, wait, yeah, okay. I mean, it doesn't look like an apartment to me, though. That is my main critique with it. It literally just looks like they chose like a random destroyed building and just like they found a room that was intact still.
Yeah.
And it's promising so far. In spite of the style change, everything looks properly dirty and in disrepair. And yes, as you can see, we've moved from a traditional animation into full digital. So much brighter colors and in general, less detailed backgrounds and less darkness. Yeah. I have a sneaking suspicion the less detailed backgrounds especially is going to come to bite us in the ass later when we get into Greed Island. But
I could see it.
Yeah, we'll see. Reserving judgment until I see it. Of course. I do appreciate the extra part with Zapile, from him pointing out that Gon and Killua are the leads, and he's just their +1, to him kind of geeking over the many treasures to be auctioned. Plus, it's a good way to not have him there when the kids stumble with the familiar faces. True.
Yeah.
Those extreme close-ups feel a bit clunky, but no matter. We're back with the rest of the troupe, and here's something I've been wanting to talk about for a while. Hunter x Hunter, for being a show that's so willing to kill off his characters, has a disturbing lack of graves. Almost no character gets the dignity of a tombstone. Outside of this very makeshift one for Pakunoda, the only other one I can think of is Goto's during the epilogue. Fucking Goto, of all characters.
Interesting.
It's a good observation. I didn't really think about that. They just kind of dispose of that shit. They don't care.
Yeah.
The back and forth is nice, with Franklin explaining the post-mortem end to Shizuku. I like the implication that those two are close. While Finks and Phaeton do the same, though I wish the moment when they talk about Paku was more impactful. Still, Killua immediately concluding that she told them about Kurapika is very in character. Yeah. Most astute person of our main cast for sure.
Indeed. By the way, real quick, I do want to point out Netero also. We saw his grave. That's a kind of a huge one.
Oh, yeah, no, good point. I would hope he would get a grave.
Yeah, they leave the bottle of whatever it is, sake or something on it.
Yeah, very nice. Although I doubt there's any remnants of his corpse even in that grave, though, to be honest.
No, there's nothing in there, but still gets a grave.
Yeah. And so the auction begins with our very pear-shaped auctioneer lady. She was very pear-shaped, wasn't she?
Yeah.
We don't get the conversation over Neon leaving because of how do you say his name again? Elisa?
I think it's like Eliza.
I think it's Eliza. Yeah. Sorry, random part there. But we do get the inclusion of the fossilized Deodorosaurus droppings. Priorities.
True.
Very true. Yeah, we didn't see anything of Neon here. I'm kind of like,
yeah, that felt off to me, but whatever.
Maybe we get that later. That could be another thing that they reorder. I'm not really sure.
Maybe.
We'll see. And with that, finally, we get to the fabled game Greed Island, donated by Sir not appearing in this story, Jate Saleh, or Jate Saleh, Jate. I've never pronounced his name actually, like out loud until now.
Who is this?
The hunter guy that donated all those consoles because he didn't come out of the game or
Oh,
complete the game in time.
I didn't even know that was his name.
They said it. I've never said it out loud, nor have I.
Jake Sully.
Jake Sully. That's right. Yeah, he's somewhere in the game, surely. Yep. This is weird. All 3 versions have different starting bids. Oh, whoa! I didn't.
What?
The manga starts at 100 million. 99 starts at 1 billion, and 2011 starts at 900 million.
What? Okay. Why? Inflation bump? I guess.
What if it was an inflation bump from the manga to 99, and then it deflated into 2011, but still inflated from the manga.
Yeah.
What the
I
hell?
don't know. That's very odd.
Not that it matters at all, but that is extremely interesting.
Yeah.
Why even change that? Huh.
I don't know. I really don't.
Weird. Love Killua's facial expressions when Gon almost commits fraud, and it's kind of necessary since he's finding Milky. There is a 2011 edition. Wait, I'm having trouble processing this. Kaige,
Like
you know what he's talking
him
about here?
spotting Miluki is only in 2011.
Oh, that's right. Okay, that makes more sense. Sorry. A good addition for sure, but there's something to be said about 99 and that Milky remained a background character through the entire arc.
I like that more personally. I just like how he has this funny little side plot that we touch in on every once in a while that culminates in nothing. It's really funny.
All that he's done this entire time in the city is just eat a lot of food. And that's it.
And he leaves empty-handed.
Oh my gosh. Going to Patera and the interview again, we get how do you say this word? You're tripping me up today, Magitech.
I don't know that word.
Intercalate.
Intercalate.
I've never. Okay, yeah, sure. We get an intercalate scene again with the troop, this time stealing the game. Very nice animation with things popping from the shadows and causing a crash by throwing a pebble like a bullet. Yeah, it looked so sick.
Yeah, it was really cool.
Not perfect, but a very nice scene. And so, this episode ends with Kurapika talking about postmortem Nen and hallucinating Uvo and Pakunoda, so portraying postmortem Nen as vengeful spirits. Not necessarily accurate, but this doesn't pay off till near the end of Chimera Ants, and even then, vengeful spirits is not the worst way to describe Pito there. Yeah? Yeah.
Very true.
Considering we didn't really have that to go off of, that's pretty impressive, honestly, how close
honestly,
they got
I
to
didn't
it.
really interpret it that way. So 99's trying to say that, like, in some capacity, like, Uvo and Paku's Nen is affecting him post-death, which is not what the manga implies, but I think that's a neat little addition if that's actually what's being implied there.
Yeah, well, I like how they did it there because you could read it as that, but you could also read it as, like, even if it's not post-mortem Nen directly, like, it's still, like, post-mortem Nen, like, almost. Like, they're still having an effect on Kurapika, that entire situation, right? So, I just think it's a really, like, neat way to present it at the very least. And the way you are articulating it here, especially, like, they got pretty close to the point of it, at least. So
They did, yeah. It's a lot of information they have to speculate because they didn't. I mean, we also don't find out even why Kurapika was so sick after this until Succession Contest, and the fact that, you know, he gets like this after he overuses Emperor Time. We don't learn that for a very long time, and I think they definitely overblew it. Like, he's not doing all this after he uses Emperor Time, but he does get faint and has to sleep a lot, basically. It's cool. A lot of, speculated information, but I think it mostly still works. You just have to view it with a different kind of lens.
yeah, and with the understanding that, like, they didn't have all the information that we do now about Kurapika and postmortem Nen and all that, so really cool. Episode 72. We continue straight up where we left with the rest of the talk between Gon and Sisgera and why they won't survive the game. Gon takes it well, kind of wish they went more cartoons like in the manga in 2011, but I don't hate this more dramatic approach. Yeah, I mean, just different presentation altogether. Neither here or there for me. Dear God, that stock footage of Heaven's Arena is so jarring when paired with the new style.
I
Yep, it sure
know.
is.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I like how blatant it is though. Like they
It's
just
so
didn't
funny.
like,
They just did
did
it. And
not
it's
care.
such a quick shot too. They were like hoping you wouldn't notice.
Oh my gosh. I know what Wing said is more on the line of Nen being an individualistic path and that imitating others will never end up well, but Gon, don't do what Kurapika did. Referring to Nen conditions feels like heavy foreshadowing in hindsight.
Ooh, I like that.
I like that a lot.
Definitely
Yeah.
unintentional, but I do like that.
Especially if you think about how like Wing's first impression of Gon was like, wow, this kid is like kind of
Yeah.
scary. Like
Yeah. Oh, I like that a lot. That's cool. Yeah.
it's a good interpretation.
Mm-hmm.
And speaking of more dramatic, Kurapika. In the manga in 2011, his training is described with chibis, showing the many steps he had to take. While here we go back to the chain imagery in the past OVAs we're so fond of, with some narration and ominous music. Simple, but very effective in showing the strife he had to go through and the foreboding nature of being a conjurer. Agreed. Yeah, it's really good. The cinematography of this first batch is honestly not bad. There's a lot of concurring scenes and non-linear storytelling, but never to the point that it gets confusing or unnecessary. I mean, I definitely thought a lot of it in episode 2 specifically was unnecessary, but
And also confusing, to be honest. So I actually don't agree with you at all, but you know.
well, definitely confusing in the sense of trying to like convey it and talk about it here on this podcast. I think as a actually watching it, it wasn't like that bad for me personally, but I can see why it would get confusing to others too.
Yeah.
Was Gon trying to figure out his path and meditating on what everyone has told him so far. Also, Kurapika's chains fading as he shakes Gon's hand is beautifully symbolic. I actually did really like that.
Yeah, I forgot to mention that. That was a good one. Continuing. So, while Gon is figuring out his own technique, Leorio says goodbye to Kurapika. This little conversation between him and Melody always melts my heart. He's so worried about Kurapika, and for good reasons, and Melody just reads him so well. I wish we got to see more with both of them on the Succession more in the future. I hope we get to see more, I assume. Me too.
Here's hoping.
And so we conclude this batch saying goodbye to our characters, goodbye to Kurapika, with Leorio again. He'll be back. Very symbolically closing his room door at the end.
He's only mentioning it because of Kurapika saying goodbye to him.
Oh, okay.
On the room he was in.
Oh, yeah. Right, yeah. Goodbye to Miluki and his pivotal subplot in this arc, and goodbye to Zepile. Yeah, I'm gonna spoil this. This is the last we see of him in this arc. Did they remove him from Kilo's exam?
I had a feeling.
What? Why?
No Zepile, baby.
That's messed up, bro. That's so messed up.
Oh my gosh.
Whatever.
World's biggest Zepile fan over here. Shambled.
He's cool. I like him. Anyways, so far, this beginning feels promising. It looks different. The story has some changes, but nothing super egregious so far. Next time on Hunter x Hunter, Selection, Secret Technique, the game begins.
The game will begin. We will be gaming.
We will be gaming soon.
All right. Thank you for the comment, Match Tech. Next up, we will be reading from Weary Exile. Welcome back. More so than the previous OVA, it's easy to tell there's been a change. If I understand correctly, the anime has shifted from cells to digital animation, and yeah, early 2000s digital animation is rough.
Yeah.
It still looks good, but it really feels like the staff are learning a new tool instead of being the masters they were of the previous medium. Exactly, yeah. Mm-hmm. Couldn't have said it better. For me, it's the coloring. It just doesn't have the same powerful lighting and intense shades of the previous arcs. Or maybe the DVDs were just encoded or preserved differently. Maybe someone else can word it better. I'm not really sure, to be honest.
I don't really know.
I'm not knowledgeable on that.
It's very hard to find solid information about these things, honestly. They're weirdly obscure for how big Hunter x Hunter is. But I think that's just a byproduct of 2011, like completely overwriting its existence. But
yeah, and just a natural progression of time in general.
Yeah.
So it'd be what it'd be. There are a fair bit of changes here, actually, so let's go through them. Kurapika's trauma and ghosts of the past. Originally in the manga, he's just sick and knocked out. Yeah, definitely the most noteworthy change here. The bigger one, though, is the scene with Paku's memories. Oh, okay, wait, no, you have a more prominent one, in your opinion. Okay. Is the scene with Paku's memories, since it's in a messy situation. Remember when she was talking Gon and Killua out of the hideout in episode 69, and they had that talk about not wanting Kurapika to kill Krollo? Well, in the manga, we saw that from a distance and didn't get to hear what they said at the time. We only learn it after the fact, through Finks' flashback when they meet him in this auction. So in a way, the manga hid an essential piece of what was going on in Paku's mind until Finks filled it in here. Oh, that is interesting, huh?
Yeah.
Now it makes sense why the previous OVA added it there. They weren't going to reach Great Island, so you want to include that important scene when you have the chance, and I think they did a great job there. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. If you didn't, they didn't have a choice, because whenever they were making these OVAs, any one of them could have been the last one. You don't make an OVA thinking you're gonna go on forever. It's a very buy the DVD thing, is how these things are produced generally. So
right. Good on them for acknowledging that detail, though, and that they kind of needed to get that out sooner rather than later. In the case that and didn't end up getting animated, so that's really, really smart. I like that. Good job on that to them.
Yeah, it was a good call.
Then comes Grid Island. I suppose they didn't want to repeat the same scene, so they decided to show it from Gon and Killua's point of view, which is a neat choice. The only problem is, between the two scenes, we missed it on the spider's view of this, how Gon and Killua's actions changed even the most hard-ass spiders, Finks and Phaeton.
Okay, so that's interesting. I was assuming we would still get that, but it would just be rearranged. And maybe you don't know. Like, maybe this is your first time through. But I was assuming we were still going to get that scene. But maybe if we don't, that's a big shame. I don't like the fact that they cut that, because that's important.
That is pretty important, especially like with how they showcase Finks, especially throughout the through Yorknew in this adaptation. That'd be a shame if we didn't actually see them get that understanding. The actual narrative is something we've been waiting for a long time. The auction for Greed Island, and wow, it is more expensive than the boys could have ever have hoped to have saved. Even Milky is outbid.
Yeah.
Can't wait to see my goat, Solo King Razor.
Yes.
Besides maybe Krollo, he solos your every Phantom Troop member with ease.
True.
Incredibly true, actually. Thank you, Weary Exile, for the comment this week.
Thank you. I'm excited to see Razor, by the way. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah. I'm curious what he's going to look like, especially.
Yeah.
Interesting.
That's a ways away. I don't even think we'll get there before the chapters are back, but...
No, probably not.
All right, next up. Here he is, folks. Insert name has entered the building. So, I rewatched 99 right before you guys started doing a reaction series. With it, I watched the OVAs in their entirety for the first time. Okay. Which means I have my notes on the Greed Island OVAs for my initial impressions. Immediately, I think the visual shift is the most prominent. The most striking thing to me is and was the shift in design and general aesthetic. So many of the designs are completely sauceless, like Leorio or the File. Sepile. The designs as a whole are very matte with static shadow placements. Yeah, very flat colors in this so far, I've noticed. They rarely change, and when they do, they almost shift into an entirely different art style. Kurapika switching between Bishonen Boy and Edgelord at whim. It just looks off. The level of consistency is odd, and there's some really weird angle choices that are less than flattering. That's not including the fisheye lens, by the way. That's hilarious. Yeah, it is very funny. That gets a pass. But what did they do to my slovenly boy Miluki?
That's a new one.
Yeah, that's new. He looks like Flat Stanley. It's a travesty. I don't know what that is either.
Slovenly, especially of a person or their appearance, messy and dirty.
True. And then who's Flat Stanley?
I've heard that before, but it's like a book series. It's like literally like about like a flat dude.
Interesting.
Like he's like paper thin, yeah. Yeah, featuring a boy who becomes a half an inch thick after a bulletin board falls on him. That's the premise of the series.
Interesting. What a premise.
It's a kid's book. It's funny.
I should clarify, this is entirely separate from the choices they made in visual style in characters like Sezgera or Benolanov, who they decided to stick with a manga design. Now, personally, I do wish they looked differently. Or do I wish they looked different? Absolutely. Benolanov is still walking around in a gimp suit. Yeah, it's very, very off-putting.
I don't like it at all.
No. But even more than that, the designs just don't mesh with the backgrounds. The backgrounds and characters feel like they belong to separate series. The bright colors of Gon and Kurapika's outfits, the blue one, really clash with the bleak colors of the building. Or the black colors of the building? I don't know. There has got to have been a better way to integrate the designs in the backgrounds. Even with that, the backgrounds are not really doing any favors. Every room being a near perfect geometric shape feels bad. It's like the characters exist in a geometric shape. We live in the rectangle, we die in the rectangle. I know they are supposed to be in a dilapidated space, but the poor quality and location really compound to make this feel barren as hell. Okay, so I guess they are supposed to be in a rundown building. I don't remember that at all, to be honest, but I'll take your guys' word for it.
Mm-hmm.
Take the road in episode 2, for example. The road the car is on is so bland and lifeless. They are cutting a lot of corners in this department. It doesn't help that the designs are so often used in scenes with lots of static animation. A certain percentage of any anime is always going to be a static design with lips a-flapping, but it's a bit overused here. However, I think there is one thing I must address. I'll let past me do it. Oh god, the saturated light of the day is going to replace the shadows, isn't it? I can see it now.
Oh, baby. Monkey's paw curls.
Yeah. Welcome to the land of overexposed light. Oh, we're back.
We've come full circle now, guys.
Oh, no. How do you go from barely visible to desaturating the images with light like this? It seems between the original run of 99, someone heard my screams of anguish across time and space and decided that shadows have to be banished from 99. The pendulum has swung a bit too far in the other direction. In particular, it seems like they are adverse to showing what's out of the windows. First, no corners, and now no windows. What is the point of a window if not to show the outside world? Unless the outside world of Hunter x Hunter is a liminal space of boundless light. Even in the scenes at night, there's far too much light. Take the scene of Killua using his lightning nen. Why is the night represented by such relatively light shade of blue? I'm grateful Killua is fully visible, but some of the rooms should be affected by the night. Also, I think this episode is exactly when I noticed the sound effects in 99, funnily enough. Huh.
Took you that long.
This feels like a terrible resolution for Yorknew, to be honest. It's so focused on Greed Island, the Yorknew stuff is just kind of there, even watching back-to-back. Have Gon as a question. Have Gon and Killua interacted with Melody or Leorio? Are they in different shows? What the fuck? Huh. Actually.
You're not wrong. You're really not wrong.
That is such a good point. Yeah. In the manga, it really does feel like they're all together. They talk to each other, but yeah, it feels like they're in completely different areas, buildings.
Mm-hmm.
I'll hesitate to make some of the comments. I want to avoid any semblance of spoiling, but we are in for a ride. Okay, on to Misk in each episode, miscellaneous. Hunter x Hunter Greed Island OVA episode 1. What the fuck is up with the rooms? Maybe I'm missing it, but the two rooms they seem to be switching between seems unnecessary and awkward. Okay, I like Shizuku's jeans. Yeah. Shizuku looked good. The merge between the convo with batters and the troop getting the game is really annoyingly placed and kind of bad.
Batters.
What the fuck did Finks do there? Did he emit a blast of Nen? It was a rock.
It was a pebble, yeah.
Yeah. They show him flicking his fingers a dent in the windshield and then the car careening off the side of the road. There's no way his arm reached that far forward to make contact. Oh, it's a pebble. I had to slow that down to 0.25 speed to see that. Goddamn. All right. Still doesn't explain why he crashed, though. He clearly wasn't hit directly.
Well, no, because there was two people in the car, right?
Yeah.
There was a driver, and then there was a guy
two.
with the suitcase in the passenger seat.
Yeah.
And that was the only guy that...
Yeah, the guy with the
car.
suitcase is what got out, yeah.
Yeah, so that other guy died immediately, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what I interpreted it as, at least.
Yeah.
Around 1930, what the fuck happened to Sesgera's head? It's like they chopped it off and left it deformed. It goes from... you left out the rest of what you said. I'll just finish off his comment here. There's not much left.
Sure.
Why is the spider there? Why is he sound activated? Why is he going back and forth? Who thought of this? In the room with Kilo and Gon, I've loved the little guy. Best part of the episode. I loved that too. It was so random, but I thought it was
very
funny.
Random.
Hunter x Hunter agreed on an OVA episode 1 again. You probably meant 2. Fink's still unmoving eyes when he's moving or talking are creepy as hell. Bad. I love that you had to specify it. You mean that's a bad thing. Machi is apparently the only troop member they cared about giving interesting eyes. Nobody's talked about her hair change yet.
Literally nobody. How are we the only ones that have noticed?
I don't know. Kilo's lightning looks so much worse than 2011. I mean, yeah, but it still looks
That's
fine.
like saying water is wet. Like, yeah, of course it's gonna look better. Kitchen found in drawer. Or kitchen found.
Wait, what?
I said that wrong. Fork found in kitchen drawer. I'm gonna see myself out, guys.
Kitchen.
Thank you for
drawer.
watching the Hunter Association podcast.
You heard it here first.
I'm retiring. Goodbye, everybody.
Right. I can see why someone might like 99 compared to 2011 in some sense, but there's no reason to watch this over 2011. Yeah, probably not. We watched 2 episodes. Let us form our own opinion on that. But yeah, I get you. Kurapika's chain visualization looks lazy as hell. It's fine. Why is going on the back of a Yu-Gi-Oh card? What?
When he was going through all the principles of
yeah. You're right. That's so true. And finally, the animation of Gon falling into the couch has absolutely no sense of momentum. He's standing still, but nothing is done to make it seem like there's a force pushing him back. I'll take your word for it.
I mean, that's supposed to be like him like not controlling his Hatsu immediately, right? So like, I mean, it's just like an explosive force, basically. I don't know. I can stretch my mind to believe that that event, but
yeah,
it did look a little funky, I suppose. All right, and our last comment for the day. Thank you, insert name, for writing as per usual.
Yes, thank you.
Our last comment of the day is from Filler Millmore, episode 1. The art change is jank and objectively flawed, but I sort of like it for purely subjective reasons. It has a nostalgic quality that reminds me of Flash game websites, though of course that's not the goal of a team producing an anime. But I do think the reduced look allowed the artist to go off-model more, because from what I recall, this OVA has a bunch of intentionally off-model reaction faces that I quite like. Here, Kurapika's fever is not just physical, but seems to be inducing some type of psychosis. In the manga, he is more physically incapacitated, but putting on a mask of stability. Emotionally, Kurapika is very different in these scenes, and his ability to sit, stand, and remain awake, though not necessarily lucid, indicates the illness is, to a significant degree, mental. When we are shown a conversation from his perspective, the angles are Dutch, the audio filtered, and the visuals blurred, all to create the feeling of disorientation as he sees Paku and Uvo's ghosts. Within the greater Hunter x Hunter context, I find this change unnecessary, but I accept that 1999 likes to do stuff like this. I mean, also keep in mind, they had to interpret why Kurapika was like feeling the way he was with like very little information on where that was gonna take him in the future, right? The manga wasn't even... I mean, how far were they by the time this OVA came out? Like, just starting Chimera Ant or something like that, right?
2003? No, that'd still be finishing up Greed Island.
Okay.
Yeah, I can't remember the exact. I'll look it up while you keep talking. I'm curious.
Sure. Either way, though, yeah. Like, I mean, I accept that some anime original content like that is gonna be from them trying to provide their best guess for further context, without knowing, what the new source material will look like, obviously. So I don't really mind it, but I see why that could be annoying for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, I feel a little down on the conversation between Finks and the boys, as I think the way it was changed altered the intended effect significantly. In the manga, Finks remembers Pakunoda's memory presented through her point of view, and thanks the boys on her behalf before walking away. Gon is left with a sad look on his face before the chapter ends with no further comment. I think this presentation emphasizes that all parties involved, or at the very least Finks and Gon, were affected by Pakunoda's sacrifice, and there is this expression of gratitude and non-aggression that is mutually understood. The OVA makes two choices that I think alter this. 1. Pakunoda's flashback is changed. It is no longer from her point of view, which I understand was already shown prior, but still. And it's not placed within Finks' dialogue, but rather after the conversation had already concluded. This has the effect of removing the context/weight behind Finks' words, and it puts less emphasis upon the flashback as a whole. Yeah, I don't like how they put that flashback after the fact that conversation took place. It should have definitely just stayed right as he was thinking them.
Mm-hmm.
And 2, the boys' reactions are changed. They sigh with relief when Phaeton and Finks walk away, showing there was not any mutual understanding reached since they were still tense. Gon also moves on from his concern for Pakunoda immediately, and Killua begins to analyze the implications of her death from a technical standpoint.
Yeah, I meant to actually talk more about that, but I guess it kind of slipped my mind in the moment. I do think the change of making this less of like an emotional encounter is odd, but I don't know. I don't know why they did it. I really don't actually. It's odd.
Now that screams an unnecessary change for me because it clearly worked very well how it was portrayed in the manga, obviously. Mm-hmm. So, this feels like a classic 99 thing, especially with Hunter Exam Heaven's Arena thing, where they're just changing things for the sake of changing it, and there really isn't a reason for it. So that's definitely a shame for that moment in particular.
Mm-hmm.
For me, this had the unfortunate effect of reducing the interaction to primarily an exchange of information, despite the original having been emotionally resonant to some degree. Absolutely. Also, side note, the chin-reducing fisheye lens they put Phaeton in made him look like Leafy is here. I used to call him Leafy instead of his actual name. I don't watch that guy, although I've definitely heard of him, obviously, so I believe you on that. Weirdly, I have a second visual comparison to make between a character in this episode and a controversial figure. I hate to say it, but Sesgera in this OVA style occasionally reminds me of those J.D. Vance edits. I don't know why that is.
Sesgera. I don't know about that. I don't know.
That's interesting. I'll have to think on that. I'll have to get back to you on that.
I'll ponder.
Really, yeah.
I'll go up in the mountains and ponder that one.
Poor Sesgera being compared to J.D. Vance, dude. That's rough, man.
That's rough. Okay, so before I get to this comment, I looked up. Greed Island ended in June of 2003. So
wow.
It was ending.
It was about to end.
Yeah. And then, of course, Chimera Ant then went on to last until 2013.
A decade-long arc.
1 decade.
That's
man.
Insane.
No wonder they didn't keep the OVAs going.
Right, yeah. Not worth it. Not worth it.
It's also so interesting to be in 2003 now, like watching these, because it's just funny to know that just in 2011, not that long after, and these OVAs go up to 2005, by the way. So like 6 years after that, we have a full remake from the beginning. It's just wild. Like you don't see that kind of shit happen often.
No.
All right, continuing with this comment, episode 2. What I like about the fact that Killua poses Gon a competitive challenge is that there is no self-interest behind it. Killua only says that to inspire Gon to action and help push him to develop his Hatsu, which in a real competition would be self-sabotage. Killua presents it like a threat to surpass him when his making the threat, which he knows will goad him, actually reflects a lack of desire to surpass him. Interesting interpretation.
Okay.
The OVA took away Gon's brain overheating and Killua bopping him to get it to stop, which is sad since I like the physical comedy in their interactions. Yeah, I thought something was missing there. Finks is really looking like a Dragon Ball character with the way, you're very right about that, with the way they sized his pupils and drew his eyebrow area. I'm serious. I was looking into Finks's eyes like so intently while watching this, and I was like, what is this? What am I thinking of right now? And that's it. It's exactly that, yeah. It's very Dragon Ball.
Finks is a Dragon Ball character, confirmed.
He is. He does punch really hard.
This is true, yeah. You got a point.
As much as I like the creative choice to overlay relevant portions of Gon's conversation over the visual of him isolated in a room, I think the tone of many of these scenes really didn't need to be as depressing or dramatic as they were. Gon's struggle was depicted as humorous in other versions, and the OVA neglected to establish that Gon's underlying motivation behind requesting Kurapika's tutelage was in order to distract him from the auction. Very good point. Yeah, they did kind of change a lot about this.
Okay.
Without the humor and without that context, Gon comes off as genuinely sad at times, and it's a bit of a downer.
That's a really good point, actually.
Yeah.
That definitely changed how I viewed these scenes too. Of him doing that.
Because you know something, Dylan. When I was talking, you're talking about oh, Gon's an asshole here. This is kind of loosely foreshadowing Chimera Ant. These are thoughts I have never ever in my life had about this scene ever.
Yeah.
And
I thought that felt off, but that was genuinely how I was feeling watching these. So I'm huh.
Yeah, totally different presentation. Very, very interesting.
Much to think on there. Implications to come, I'm sure, as well, later on in these OVAs.
Yeah. The airport scene made me realize that Leorio didn't really take care of sick Kurapika in this, despite being a doctor. Yeah, that too. It was more melody, which is so weird.
Huh.
Perhaps that was a consequence of the changes to Kurapika's illness. That's kind of how I interpreted that too. Yeah, they just completely changed what was wrong with Kurapika. And yeah, I mean, in that case, melody would be a better support line through mental struggles, I feel. But still, it's why change it? It's just odd. It's the 99 classic, even though it's a different director, it's still classic weirdness.
Right.
But I also feel as though Leorio has been static in these episodes. It's just odd that Leorio and Kurapika seem so emotionally distant given the 99 team's track record with those two. The one time they had an excuse. Yeah. But it's more indirect this time. Their bond is still there. It's just they're kind of being coy about showing it for whatever reason. It's nice, but it's just different. I don't know. It works in a different way. Lastly, I didn't like that the conversation between Leorio and Melody was reordered. In the manga, Leorio initiates the conversation by crouching to meet her eye, a show of respect, and asking her to take care of Kurapika. Melody responds to this display of concern by telling him that his heart is good and it's an in-universe affirmation that Leorio is as sweet as he acts. In the OVA, Melody initiates the conversation, and Leorio doesn't meet her at eye level until he is the one speaking. By voicing his concern for Kurapika after Melody has already initiated a conversation, it can be more easily read as an afterthought that he might not have been inclined to say had the tracks not been pre-laid by Melody. I don't see the purpose behind the rearrangement. Don't see the purpose, yes, but I don't know if I agree with all that. I suppose, yeah, your wording of that is true. It is easier to view it in that way, but I still don't view it that way, and I don't think a lot would. But there is room to view it that way, which is something other iterations of this scene did not have. So, fair.
Yeah, and the lesson we can take away from this too is that they like to reorder a lot, and they reordered way more than we even like covered in our actual discussion of this episode in particular. So that's interesting. We'll see if that continues to happen in future episodes. Is kind of my concern now at the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of really good discussion this week, guys. Thank you for all the comments. Usual reminder again, if you want to get in on this type of fun, get in on the discussion along with all these lovely folks, make sure you keep an eye out for the YouTube community posts, the call-out posts on Twitter and Bluesky, and of course, you can always email us at hunterassociationpod@gmail.com.
Absolutely. And with that, this has been the Hunter Association. Thank you so much for listening. We are available on all major podcasting platforms as well as YouTube for the video version. Be sure to follow, rate, review, and comment on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. You can also follow us on Twitter at TX868Pod as well as Bluesky at THAPod for updates on the show and an alternative way to submit responses to the weekly call-out posts. As always, we'll be here the same time every week talking about Hunter x Hunter. Dylan, where can people find you online?
You can find me online at DJ Tengen. That's DJTENGEN on both Twitter and Bluesky. Go give me a follow if you're interested in all the nerd shit that I'm up to.
And you can find me on Bluesky and YouTube at Manga Cage.
He reads manga.
I do read some manga. All right. That's it for the show. Next week, of course, we're continuing on this 99 watch through. We will be watching episodes 73 and 74, or episodes 3 and 4 of the first Greed Island OVA. So be there or be square. Maybe we'll have an announcement of the manga returning to talk about next week. You never know.
We're manifesting it now. Here's hoping.
Come on, guys. It's close.
Please, just give it to us.
It's
please.
so close. It's so close.
Also want to say happy Valentine's Day as of day recording this. So for all of you that celebrated this past weekend, hope you had a good Valentine's Day.
Yeah, absolutely.
Kaige is my Valentine, of course.
Yeah, of course. All right, guys, that's all we got. We will see you guys next week. Take it easy.
All right. Take care, everybody.